Oh, why, hello there. You just interrupted me catching up on a copy of one of my best-selling books that I self-published over 10 years ago, importing from China. Now you might have wondered, how much do people selling their own books through Amazon Kindle actually make? And I'm not talking the John Grishams of the world or the Jeff Patterson or James Patterson, whatever his name is, that type of author. I'm talking about the Dave Bryants of the world. The stay-at-home parents, the side hustlers working a full-time job, just looking to make a little bit of extra money. How much do those guys make? In this video, I'll tell you the honest truth about how much self-publishing on Kindle can make you and how you can do it. And I'll also tell you how much this little book right here made me over the course of the lifetime, which I had it for sale on Amazon. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to tell you a little secret about James Patterson that nobody else ever told you in just a second. And I'll also tell you the other thing that you're probably wondering. Can I use ChatGPT to write me books and make me a ton of money? So keep watching and I'm going to tell you how you can finally make your mom and dad proud and call yourself an author. All right, you've probably heard of James Patterson, one of the highest earning authors of all time, who has sold over 400 million books worldwide and generates an estimated $80 million per year. He's an amazing author, isn't he? Well, guess what? James Patterson, he doesn't write nearly any of his books. Say what? You see, James Patterson operates more like the CEO of a publishing empire more than an author. He hires other people to write his books and he puts his name on them. James will review the work, however, to make sure that basically the writing doesn't suck, but he actually doesn't write anything almost any of the time. This strategy has been extremely popular for years. Some of your other heroes, well, Michael Crichton, Tom Clancy, guess what? They don't write their own books either. And by now, the gears in your head are probably turning. If these guys had other people writing their books before AI, could I do the same thing with ChatGPT and publish a bunch of books to Kindle? Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. But first, how does Kindle or KDP or self-publishing actually work? So KDP or Kindle or self-publishing, they're all kind of used the same way, is Amazon's book publishing platform. Basically, anyone can upload a PDF or a Word doc of their book, hit publish, and have it for sale on Amazon. Now, I use the word book lightly because, as I'll show you in a minute, there's people making a bunch of money self-publishing on Kindle who really push the boundaries of what the definition of a book is. Well, that is unless you consider the menu that your server gives you at your favorite Italian restaurant a book. So it's pretty easy. You give your book a fancy title, upload a cool cover, and most importantly, pick a price, and voila! Your book is now available to hundreds of millions of Amazon customers. All right, now you're wondering, how much money do you need to get started? Well, the best thing about Kindle publishing by far is the fact that you need absolutely zero money to get started. This isn't private labeling from China where you'll need to shell out thousands of dollars to some factory in China to make an initial order. No, this isn't retail arbitrage where you have to buy some discounted Pokemon dolls from a Walmart and pay to ship them into Amazon. No, this isn't even working at an Amazon warehouse where you need to pay for steel-toe boots and the cost of parking. With Kindle self-publishing, you need absolutely no money to get started. And I mean no money. I don't mean you need nothing to get started, but then you have to shell out a bunch of other costs down the road. I actually mean that you need nothing and you almost need no money at any time. Okay, well that's all great. You don't need any money to get started, so that probably means that you can make almost nothing, right? Well, there's indie book publishers making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and some are even making millions of dollars a year. But what's an honest estimate? Well, let me just tell you how the pricing works for Kindles. Books are priced from $2.99 to $9.99 in order to qualify for 70% royalties. What that means is that you get 70% of whatever you sell your books for. So you sell your book for $9.99, you get 70% of that. Do the math here. That means that you get $7. But how about if you want to sell your book for either more or less? You want to sell it for $29.99. Well, you only get 35% royalties then. And you're asking yourself, so why would I price my book below $2.99 or above $9.99? Well, the answer is you probably wouldn't. You want to really price it in between $3 and $10. So how much do Kindle authors actually make though? Well, this Kindle author here claims to have multiple books selling anywhere from $7,000 to $9,000 a month. And there's many others claiming to sell that much as well, but is it true? You see, this author right here, well, he has had a different experience when it comes to self-publishing on Kindle. I've been self-publishing for nearly 10 years, and the numbers that I just told you about probably aren't true estimates. The best estimate, or the best way to summarize how much you can make from Kindle self-publishing, is probably this Reddit comment right here. Yes, I make money every single day of the year, except Christmas Day, and almost for 12 years now. Every day. There isn't a day when I don't sell at least one copy of one of my books. But I never got rich. I make enough money to pay my bills, and with the additional income from my other streams, it's enough money for me. My personal experience is much closer to this Redditor's than the other guy I talked about a minute ago. See, here's the real stats of how much money I've made publishing 3 books on Kindle. The total lifetime sales of these 3 books, including this one here, is 2,735 units. I've sold each book for about $9.99, of which I get normally 70%. So, like I showed you before, that basically means I get $7 every time I've sold a book. Now, I spend a lot of time answering emails from people every single day asking, how can I be more like Dave and how can I live a lavish lifestyle like him? Well, the answer is, of course, that I can afford to have this lifestyle from the $19,117 that I've made over 10 years of selling on Kindle. In case you're wondering, that's almost $150 a month. Okay, so how can you make more than $150 a month with Kindle? Well, there's basically 3 formats of books that work extremely well for making lots of money with Kindle. Clearly, I didn't do any of them. The first are how-to books, especially those focused on making money. And to be fair, this book on how to import from China kind of fits that bill, but it violated one of the other key tenets to making a lot of money on Kindle, which I'll talk about in a second. You see, people will spend money to make money. Well, okay, to be fair, there's also people like you and I who would prefer to watch a free video on YouTube like this one and sit through 3 minutes of YouTube ads to avoid paying for YouTube Premium, but that's another story.
At 1:26 in the afternoon, a 5.1 magnitude earthquake hit near Seashelt, rattling BC's southwest coast.
Imagine a book like AI Money Machines, How to Make Passive Income with AI, or How to Quit Your Job and Become a Kindle Self-Publisher, or How to Import from China. These are all things that people are willing to pay for. Now, you don't want to be scammy about it, but there are legitimate ways to teach people something that they have a yearning desire to do, and for most people, that's make more money. The next type of hit category in Kindle are activity books. So things like word searches, Sudoku, search and find books, and so on. These books have huge audiences, and often with these types of books, there's certain category trends or stylistic trends. For example, the 5-minute journal and journaling in general has been a huge fad over the last few years. And stylistically, things such as squared-shaped coloring books or minimalist journal designs have also become a big hit. But you're thinking, why would anyone buy something like an activity book or a coloring book or a journal for their Kindle? Well, here's a bit of Kindle self-publishing magic. With Amazon KDP, you can print your own hardcover or paperback book, and the cost is cheap, about $3 to $5 depending on the type of book and the size. Best of all, everything is print on demand, meaning that there's no minimum order. If you just want to order one book, that's totally okay. And also, best of all, you can do all of this from the same platform that you would upload your digital copy of your book. So if you've ever had a dream to have a physical book printed to tell mom that you're an author, well, you can do it with KDP. Hey there. Are you enjoying this video? I hope you are. Now, hopefully you can do me a little bit of a favor. I want to get this channel up to 7,000 subs by the end of spring. So if you could like and subscribe, I would be enormously grateful. Thank you. The next type of hit book is romance novels. Yes, romance novels are huge in all of the book world. It's a dirty, really dirty, little secret in the world of publishing that a hit romance novel is basically a ticket to riches in publishing. Why? Because romance readers can read a lot of them. If you get one reader of your romance novel hooked, well, you know what? They're going to buy the next one and the next one and the next one. And that brings us to discussing Kindle strategies to make a bunch of money that work. So here's the strategies that most self-publishing authors use to make a lot of money. So it's not by a one-hit book. It's not even 2 or 3, which is what I had. It's by dozens of books. With Kindle, to make lots of money, for the most part, you need to have a big bookshelf. Now, one way to do this is through a book series like a romance novel or something like a Harry Potter series. People buy one book, get hooked on the characters or even your writing style, and they'll buy almost anything that you publish. However, the other way is through a spray and pray method. What's the spray and pray method? Well, you publish a ton of books on a bunch of different topics. So pre-AI, people would do this with virtual assistants from countries like the Philippines. Now though, people are doing it increasingly with AI. So how do you do the spray and pray method? Well, it's basically like search engine optimization for Kindle. It's keyword research and optimization, and then you put them all together into a book instead of a website. A lot of times what people are doing is either targeting fads or various seasonal trends. So for example, create seasonal books for Christmas, Halloween, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, you name it. Seasonal books, they can skyrocket in sales during peak shopping periods. So if you're thinking about doing this, especially for seasonal book terms, what you want to do is focus on books that can be printed in either hardcover or softcover. Remember, Amazon can do those for you, and then have them printed because these types of books have a high degree of giftability, and gifts are massive on Amazon. So for example, a Valentine's Day coloring book with a $7.99 price point that has a 225 sales rank in that category can earn over $1,000 a month easily. So how do you identify these different trends? Well, you can refer to the Amazon bestsellers page and scan for different trends. You can use a publisher-specific tool like BookBolt, or you can even use Ecomru's free trending keywords tool. There's a lot of different options out there, free and paid. So once you have a bunch of topic ideas, how can you write a bunch of those books? Well, AI can potentially help you. So with AI, you can pick a topic and essentially have ChatGPT or Claude or whatever AI tool you want to use do it for you. Now, it's probably not going to be all that good for something personal and intimate, like a romance novel, but for a book on, say, car camping, it can probably do just fine. So first, start with a clear framework for each book. What's it going to include at a very high level? Include obviously the genre, structure, any key themes if it's applicable to your book, and then AI can generate that content quickly. However, without guidance, the output can be a little bit unfocused or even sound generic. So tools like ChatGPT, Claude, or even Sudoku are all great, but you just have to obviously apply a little bit of discretion to it. So once your AI tool generates the initial draft, you have to focus on refining and editing it to enhance readability and engagement, and also add a little bit of your own style and flair to the writing. Now, unfortunately, if your book is going to include a lot of graphics or illustrations, AI isn't quite there yet. So you're probably going to need to either heavily edit the graphics that AI is generating for you, or use a freelance service like Fiverr. And on top of all that, AI isn't going to help you much with the process of creating and uploading your book into Amazon. And now, regarding that, how do you actually take this book which you've written and get it live onto Amazon? So the actual process to get your book live on Amazon could not be simpler. First, put your book into a PDF or a Word doc. Amazon can handle either for you. And next, just go to kdp.amazon.com and sign up for an account. Enter the basic information about your book, things like obviously the title and how much you're going to charge for it. Upload your copy and wait a couple of days for it to be reviewed and go live. Congratulations! You, my friend, are now an author. But wait, how do you actually promote this book and get some sales? Well, here are a few helpful tips for you. So first, remember how I said that you want to price your book anywhere from $2.99 to $9.99? Well, that's true, except during certain periods like your launch and other promotional periods. So you occasionally want to give away your book for free. Why? Well, to get reviews. Reviews are critical for the success of your book. Now, check with current Amazon guidelines, but typically you can run a free promotion for your book for 5 days every 90 days. So yeah, you can't actually give your book away all of the time. So often authors will run these promotions continuously throughout the year in those 90-day periods or so. It's a great way to get more reviews for your book. And I mentioned reviews are critical. You can also use a service like Puppy.co to get 5 to 10 reviews for your book per week. Now, unfortunately, paid advertising is also becoming a thing for Kindle. So you can use Amazon advertising to promote your book, and if your book has a long lifetime value, meaning that you can sell many other books to the same reader, this can really make sense. However, if your book is kind of a one and done, you're probably best to skip the ads because it'll be really hard to get a positive ROI on that ad spend. Next, optimize your title and description for important keywords. That's just kind of basic self-publishing 101. And then next as well, make sure you choose the right category for bestseller potential. So Amazon allows you to select multiple categories, but some are much easier to rank in than others. Find a category with lower competition where fewer sales are needed to hit that bestseller list. This increases visibility and also makes your book appear more authoritative. And finally, by far the most important thing for your book is a compelling title and a captivating cover. Your title should be clear, benefit-driven, and keyword-rich to attract both readers and Amazon's algorithm. Focus on what problem your book is solving, if it is solving a problem, or the outcome that readers will get. For example, passive income playbook, quit your 9-to-5 with proven side hustles. For your cover, it should instantly communicate, number 1, the genre, number 2, the tone, and number 3, professionalism. Use bold, readable fonts, high contrast colors, and an image that evokes emotion or curiosity. Now, if you're designing it yourself, you can use Canva or BookBolt, but for best results, probably you should hire a professional designer, either on 99 Designs or Fiverr. So congratulations! You are now an author. Amazon Kindle publishing can be a great side hustle and potentially even a good full-time hustle. Remember though, to increase your chances of becoming a best-selling author and really make your parents happy, like and subscribe to this channel. And until the next one, happy reading, happy writing, and happy selling.